Alright, I decided I'm going to go ahead and put together the cabinet cart, and then I'm going to put it right over here and make the decision if I want to assemble the third piece or not. I did some measurements, and I would either have to cut this to make it fit, or drop this leaf down, and then have, I don't know, when I put it together I'll show you what it looks like and it'll make more sense. Hopefully now that I put that other one together, this one will go a little quicker. Here's a little something to think about when you're doing your project. I was putting in these hinges, and I was thinking that those screws went with these hinges because the length was the right size and the color matched, but in fact those are a number 8 and the kit only came with 12, and I needed 16 because there's 4 hinges, and it turned out to be these little silver screws, which are number 6 by 3/4 inch long. So if you're doing a project, I had everything all laid out and spread apart, but sometimes it's a good idea to do a little bit of a count so you make sure you got the right number of fasteners for whatever you're about to screw together. My thoughts. A time saver I learned from the last one I built was putting on these glides for the drawer, and the directions say the glides look the same, but they're labeled CR and CL for left and right. Well, I tell you what, you come over here, and if you can tell me where it says CL or CR on either one of those two, I'll give you 10 bucks right out of my pocket. But basically I figured it out because if you go look at any drawer in your house, it's going to have the roller in the front, and then there's a little opening on this side for where the roller on the drawer is going to go through and roll back and forth in here, and then the bottom is solid. So you just got to look at it for a minute, and this is the one for the other side. But yeah, that really irked me the first time. I bet I spent 20 minutes trying to figure that out, but I got it down this time. The way that this fastens together has me really concerned about the overall sturdiness of this unit. So what basically holds everything together is a machine screw and a nut, and the machine screw is going to come through the outside like that, and it screws into, oh, pardon me, it's going to come through into there, and then basically you have to hold the nut inside this hole with your finger and screw into that, but it's pretty loose in there, so hopefully when it gets tight it'll be, I don't know, the other one feels pretty, this unit went together exactly the same way, I just didn't have as many of these fittings, so it feels pretty sturdy, but we'll see what happens if it takes a trip down the road. Anyhow, that's kind of a concern I have. Here's a little treat the instructions don't address. This back panel, right, that's just flat backwards, is held into the 2 side support pieces with these little pins right here, and then you have to get it all attached. So basically what you need to do is start from the bottom and work your way up. I attached this top one, and I kind of regret doing that first. I might have to take it apart. I have to see. But anyhow, this is going to be a real trick getting all these pins in here and tightened up because there's not a lot of space. But it doesn't address how to do that at all in the directions. Well, this is what it looks like finished. I don't know if the video, it looks pretty nice. I mean, it looks as good as it did in the on the website, and the wood on it all feels very solid. I'm gonna have to do a couple things. One, the shelf just sits in here, so it's kind of, well, it's real tippy. It shakes a lot, so I'm probably gonna put screws in to seal that up. And then the other, which item that was really irritating, is that hole down there. I couldn't get the screw in to hold the unit together at that one point because the pin that holds the back wall in place goes down into where the fastener is supposed to go through, and you can't get the fastener through the hole because the pin's in the way. So I'm probably just gonna put a couple screws in right into that piece, and that'll hold it fine. It won't be like super attractive, but if I get something that matches the wood, it should be okay. I have a third unit, and I might not put it together because, can this zoom back in? No, I'm wide as I go. Because my goal was to make an L shape out of these things with 1, 2, and 3, but with the top open on these, it pretty much covers all that area. And I was debating whether or not to just, oh, can I get this open? Hang on. I was debating whether to put that right side down and then slide the unit over, and then put the third one right there, and then I would have another storage piece. Interesting, these are not the same height, and that one slide's right underneath there. What I could do, and I had thought about this previously, is if I move this right up to the heater, that leaves me a little gap right there, and I was thinking about putting a trash can right there, which is kind of nice when you're making stuff that you can just slide it into the trash can and then you know, pick it up later. Anyhow, I gotta think about it a little bit more, but overall, other than the fact that it kind of goes together in a rinky-dink manner, I like the way it looks when it's all done, and it feels pretty solid when you gotta flip it over to put the top on, and it doesn't wiggle or anything, other than that one shelf being kind of floppy. All together is pretty good.